everyone. In our last lesson, we have learned about the sources of income for a not-for-profit organization and about the expenses for a not-for-profit organization or NPO. So it becomes easy for us to determine what are the receipts or income of a not-for-profit organization and what are the expenses or payments for not-for-profit organization or NPO. Now we will discuss about the books of accounts for a NPO. Discussing about the books of accounts for our NPO, we get three books of accounts. The first one is receipt and payments account, the second one is income and expenditure account, and the last and final one is preparation of balance sheet. So we will discuss each and every books of accounts in details about its features, limitations, advantages, format, procedure of recording one by one. So let's follow the video. So in today's lesson we will learn about the books of accounts or final accounts for NPO, and we will start with receipt payment accounts. In receipt payment accounts, only the cash transactions are recorded. What cash is coming in and what cash are moving out of the business organization, and this basically follows the cash basis system of accounting, where only the cash coming in is recorded, whether it is for the current year, whether it is for the previous year, whether it is for the upcoming next year, and whatever cash is moving out, it is recorded. Same logic is applied for the cash basis of accounting. Next, discussing the features of receipt and payment account, we can say that it is the same features as that of cash book. That means whatever is coming inside the business organization as cash is recorded in the debit side, whatever is moving out of the business organization as cash is recorded in the credit side. This account is not a part of double entry system of bookkeeping, and it records whatever expenditure, revenue or capital does not matter. Similar to that of cash book, we can calculate and find the closing balance of the non-profit organization from the receipt and payment account. Discussing the limitations of receipt and payment account, first limitations, it does not record any other expense than the cash expense, such as depreciation of fixed asset and amortization of goodwill or writing off any preliminary expense. While maintaining receipt and payment account, we cannot determine what are our due receipts or what are the due expenditures for an NPO at that point of time. Here we will have a detailed discussion on the format of receipt and payment. A ledger format is maintained for preparing receipt and payments. The debit side of the ledger format shows the receipt amounts and the credit side shows the payments amount for the non-profit organization. As we have previously learned the sources of income for NPO and the expenses for the NPO, it becomes easy for us to record the receipt and payments and identify its nature. Now let's start with the sum. Here our receipt and payment details of DLF club is maintained, and hence we are asked by the question to prepare a receipt and payment account. As we have said that receipt payment accounts follow the features of cash book, so we will follow the basic golden rule of real account: debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Thus, from the question we can identify that cash in hand and cash at bank, that is bank balance, on 1st April is the receipt for NPO. So, as per the format, we will record the opening cash or bank balance at first and then record other receipt. The other receipts are entrance fees, membership fees, donation for club pavilion, food stuff sale and their respective amounts. Now coming to the payment side, we will record the expenses one by one. For recording the expenses, we have salaries and wages, purchase of food stuff, construction of club pavilion, general expenses, rent and taxes, bank charges. We will record these expenses with their respective amount, and this amount will be recorded on the payment side. Also in the payment side, we will record the closing cash and bank balance. Since closing balance is given, we will find that the total of the debit side and the total of the credit side is same. Now, if the closing cash and bank balance is not given, then of course there will be a difference with the total of the debit balance and the credit balance, and this difference known as the closing cash or bank balance. One more sum for practice. In the last sum, we found that the closing cash and bank balance was given, but in this sum, we will have only the closing balance of cash. And finally, we will determine that yes, there is a difference in the debit total and the credit total, and the difference amount will result in closing bank balance. Similar to the previous sum, in this sum also we will record the receipt of the NPO on the debit side and the payment of the NPO on the credit side, and finally we will calculate the closing bank balance as a difference amount. Next books of account for an NPO is income and expenditure account. Basically, income and expenditure account follows the accrual basis system of accounting, same as that of profit and loss account. That means whatever revenue incomes and revenue expenditures occur in and not for profit organizations, they are recorded in income and expenditure account. And finally, with the help of this account, surplus or deficit will be calculated as a result of the activities of NPO. Stating the features of income and expenditure account, we can say that it only records revenue nature item. Next, it is a nominal account by form, and hence it follows the golden rule of nominal account, that is debit all expenses and losses, credit all income and gain. Number 3 feature is income and expenditure account is similar to profit and loss account. It is prepared on accrual basis. Next, whether money is received or not and money is paid or not does not matter. It will be recorded as accrued income and outstanding expenses. Lastly, it helps to calculate the surplus or deficit for an NPO. Before preparing the income and expenditure, there are certain terms which are required to be discussed. First, entrance fees. These are the fees charged for admitting a member in an institution. Since it is paid by the member only once, it is a capital receipt. But generally, we find that new members join the institution every year. Thus, it will always be treated as a revenue income as per the CBSE syllabus. The next term is subscription. These are the membership fees paid monthly by the members, and hence it is revenue income. Thus, it will be recorded to the income side of income and expenditure account. Number 3 is donation. General donations will be credited to the income and expenditure as it is a revenue income, whereas special donation will appear on the liability side of the balance sheet as it is a capital fund. Next, legacy. Always legacy is a capital fund, thus it will appear on the liability side of the balance sheet. And next we discuss about life membership fees. It is a huge amount received at once by the members, so it is also a capital fund and will be recorded in the liability side of the balance sheet. The next term we have is sale of old newspaper. Now, the sale of old newspaper or sale of sports material usually takes place on a regular basis in a not-for-profit organization, and hence it will be recorded in the credit side of the income and expenditure account as it is a revenue income. Next term for discussion is sale of old asset. Basically, sale of old asset is recorded in receipt and payment account. Now, after recording the amount in receipt and payment account, we will find the difference between the sale amount and the book value of the asset appearing in balance sheet. For finding the difference, we will deduct the book value of asset from the sales amount. If the result is positive, it is a profit and recorded in income side, and if the result is negative, it's a loss, then it will be recorded in the expenditure side of income and expenditure.